Hi everyone, good afternoon and welcome to the second session in this year's Imagine If conference. This session is Disrupt and Discover, Exploring New Models of Delivery through Co-Production, hosted by the fabulous Tin Arts. So our session today is part of our Imagine If digital conference series, this year exploring the theme, Imagine If creativity gave us the freedom to learn without inhibition and to accept mistakes as part of our lifelong discovery. My name's Andrew Garrett and I am Area Manager for North of Tyne and Arts Mark Lead for Culture Bridge North East. We are part of Arts Council England's national network of bridge organisations connecting the education and arts and cultural sectors together to enable better access to quality arts and cultural education for all children and young people, no matter their circumstances. And I'm sure you'll agree, this is more pertinent than ever in our current climate. Before we start, I have a little bit of housekeeping. We sent you some delegate guidelines beforehand, just to remind you about that. And within that, we had a couple of requests. I think we're all pretty much used to this nowadays, but if you could remain muted unless you're speaking. And today we're suggesting you keep your settings on side-by-side speaker view. You'll find the way to change that on the top right of your screen. It'll be the best way to see what's happening. It would be great if you could put your name or make sure that your name and or organisation is written clearly in your Zoom participant name, so we can take your attendance. I can take your attendance. If you can right click on your image and there'll be an option to change your name there if you don't know how to do that or haven't done that before. As you go along, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and we can go through them at the end of the session. We've got a bit of time dedicated to that. And also we have closed captions available for the session today. So just click on the live transcript button, it's got 2 C's on it at the bottom. And then once you click that, there'll be an option for you to show subtitle, and that will bring up the closed captions. We gathered some consent in your booking forms, but just a further reminder that this session is being recorded, so we can use it as an Imagine If digital resource for the future. And please feel free to share your workshop experience on social media by including our Twitter handle @CultureBridgeNE and using this year's conference hashtag ImagineIf21. We are joined today by Danny, who's our digital stage manager. So if you have any technical issues, please message her via the chat. But now I think it's time to hand over to Martin, George, Laura and Tess. Have a great session.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Danny. Hello to everybody. It's lovely to see so many faces and some very familiar faces are great to see as well. So welcome you all to our session today. My name is Martin and I will shortly tell you a little bit more about myself and then introduce Tess, George and Laura. First of all, we'll give you a quick overview of our session today. Hopefully you can all see the slides. So this is our overview today. Over the course of the next 45 minutes, we will tell you about our combined experience of using co-production to improve the way we deliver dance activities. We will draw upon learning from 2 programs that both George and Laura have been involved in. We'll include some film footage and also invite you to take part in a breakout room in the second half of the session to chat a bit more about things you've heard today. And at the end, there is also time for questions, as Andrew said. Drop those questions into the chat. We'd love to field them at the end, and it could be anything that kind of spirals from your heads about co-production and maybe how or why or where it's come from for us. But also, as we go through, there'll be some slight 15-second silences. So we get to the end of slides and we give you a pause at the end of the slide, and these are just thought breaks, which allows you to process what you're seeing as well as what you've just heard. So if we go quiet for 10 seconds, it's because we're just giving that time to take on board the information from the slide. So we'll start with some introductions. So, my name is Martin. I'm a white male. My pronouns are he and him. I'm 50 years old. I did actually put in the script I was 49 years old, but then I turned 50 about a week ago, so I had to change my script, which got pointed out to me a lot. I have no hair and black rimmed glasses. I'm wearing a grey dark jumper. I am one of the co-founders of Tin Art and also its executive director.
My name is Laura. I'm a white female with dark brown hair with ginger in it. My eye colour is dark green. I have a smile and I am full of laughter at Tin Art. I am a co-leader in the Emerging Young Dancers programme. I used to dance with this group, but now I'm 19 years old. I'm too old.
My name is George. I'm a white man and a beard. My eyes are mixed in blue and green. And a cheeky smile. I make people laugh. I jumping tin art, dancing, and performing, teaching, adult, tutoring.
My name is Tess. I'm a white female. My pronouns are her and she. I am 49 years old. I have dark brown hair. I am 5'2" tall and of small build and wear glasses. I am an able-bodied person who is neurotypical. I am one of the co-founders and the artistic director at Tin Arts. Today I'm wearing a black jumper and I'm feeling very excited to be here. Tin Arts are a dance organisation based in Durham, and we are passionate about dance and the difference this can make to people's lives. We believe everybody has the right to access dance, and since 1999, we have nurtured and developed a community of people of all ages and abilities brought together by a shared passion for dance. George and Laura both dance at Tin Arts and are connected to several programmes we deliver. As well as being an individual dance artist, making and performing his own work nationally, George has also been a member of the Talent Hub.
So, George, what is Talent Hub?
I made the title bring dancers together, learn new skills. Anybody tired?
Laura first danced with Tin Arts at school in Spennymoor and has gone on to join in many of our programmes, including the Emerging Young Dancers programme. Laura, what is EYD?
It's for young talented people with additional needs who are come to train and dance.
Now we will play a short film that includes some imagery from Tin Arts and video clips from the Talent Hub and Emerging Young Dancers, featuring both George and Laura.
Everyone is welcome in this house. There is room for everybody in this house. Warm smile, kind eyes, caring hands and tall skies. Come on in, because you're welcome in this house.
I've been involved with Tin Arts for I don't know how many years, but I've lost count. Dancing been in my life for ages, and I love to dance. It helps me with my confidence and stuff like that. On the Friday afternoon, I go to EYD called, it stands for Emerging Young Dancing. And Friday night, I go to D+, because I got put in there now. So I'm kind of new. So EYD is like a special dance group for autism to what I've got called speech and language difficulty I have, and hypermobility in my ankle. And it helps me to communicate in my own way with my body language as well to help me. Brought me closer to dancing because I love it so much. Can't take it away from me. It's like a spider with a web. You can't take a web away from the spider.
Well, in here there are no walls to hold you back. There are only arms to pull you through. springs beneath your feet. Cause when you're moving, life is sweet. You are wonderful, you're welcome in this house. Never wonder if you're welcome in this house. A warm smile, kind eyes, caring hands and tall skies.
Can't wait to do the shows. All the dancers, they're all working hard. Get all this different skills and all that working. And they're getting stronger when they're dancing. Me, happy and ready to do the show. This one's different. Yeah, do work with teamwork. You all the team, you all work together, you make a good show. It's teamwork.
Oh, come on in because you're welcome. You can sing because you are welcome. You can win with what you bring because you're welcome in this house. Move your feet because you are welcome. Feel the beat because you are welcome. Life is sweet and you are welcome. And you're welcome in this house. Come on in because you're welcome. You can sing because you are welcome. You can win with what you bring because you are welcome in this house. Move your feet because you are welcome. Feel the beat because you are welcome. Life is sweet and you are welcome. And you're welcome in this house. Come on in, 'cause you are welcome in this house.
So that was a film about tin art, and the music was from Katie Doctor, You Are Welcome, which hopefully is quite a nice segue into the topic for today's conversations. Today's session is all about co-production.
Co-production is when people work together to find a better way to do something. For us, it's about dance activities. Co-production makes sure everyone's voice is equal and heard. For today's workshop, we have worked together to co-produce the contact for words and as well as who will speak and when.
Today's session is officially in your information called Disrupt and Discover, exploring new models of delivery through co-production. I'm sure you agree that this isn't actually the easiest sentence to read and understand, and was formed over 6 months ago by myself because we wanted to badge the session up as intriguing and interesting. But when we started to work together on the content for this session, we knew that we needed to find words that all four of us could understand, so we came up with a new title for our session today. Making decisions together to find better ways of working.
So why is making decisions together important? There are lots of reasons why. It allows everyone to share their personal experiences.
Make people dance more.
Can lead to more opportunities for everyone.
Involves communication skills, speaking and listening.
Help us work together better.
It is based in openness and honesty.
Show you ain't you.
And we achieve these outcomes through discussion and planning to make decisions together before, during, and after activities and programs take place. So what happened in the Talent Hub and Emerging Young Dancers? Across both programs, several themes emerged and are consistent, and we have chosen 3 to share with you today: language, organisation, communications.
As we go through the slides, we will share information based on our personal experiences of taking part in dance activities. This is the before. And then we will share the same information about how activities happened based on making decisions together. And this is the after.
Language before. Words used are complicated. Dance includes words in a foreign language, tasks not explained enough, and instructions always verbal.
After, easier words.
After, easy words.
We talk slowly
Take slowly,
and we use pictures.
pictures.
As Laura and George have shared, the change that happened was the dancers were able to decide what type of language they would like others to use, in this case, the activity leaders, and offer a range of ideas about how else instructions or tasks could be communicated. It is their lived experience of finding language difficult that helps us all find better ways to share information in the activity.
Organisation before. Not everyone could join in. Teachers were strict. We didn't know what was planned to happen. Lots of rules to follow. Musical teachers were too loud or were too quiet, and we couldn't hear or understand them.
After, making sure everyone is aware of the plan and what will happen. Being sensitive to people's capacity to deal with noise. Making sure all activities are planned to be adaptable to different needs. Making the rules of how the session will run together, such as agreeing to keep it relaxed and fun, but to also all committing to working hard. Leaders regularly asking if people need more information and how they need it.
So here we have a real sense of shifting the power balance within the activities away from someone who leads and everyone else follows. Instead, we are building an equality of power where we work together to ensure the activity runs in a way that suits everybody and everybody knows and understands the plans of what will happen. And what happens as a result is that you often get more of a productive session where everybody is working hard and also getting a much better experience.
Intermission. Before, use hard words. Too small.
Information is made for the parent or carer and not the dancer. Information doesn't make sense as it is often not presented well and the language is again overcomplicated.
After, make information for the dancer. Use easy to read documents which include pictures and use short and simple words. Work with dancers to create this information.
So again, we continue the pattern of placing the dancer as the very important person in the room. working with the dancers to create the information they want to receive in the way they want to receive it and is most useful to them. So this has been about making decisions together. So for the dancers, how does it feel to take part in activities where we have made decisions together about how they're organised and how they will run?
Happy, calm,
More confidence, freedom to share ideas, more trust.
So across both programmes, by making decisions together or co-production, we enabled people with lived experiences of disability to decide how activities could run better, included how activities ran, the language we use, and the ways we communicate. Increased ownership within activities for dancers, delivered activities with people and not to them.
And so to continue the spirit of co-production, we wanted to include that in today's session. So now we are going to a breakout room discussion. And within that breakout room discussion, we are keen to hear more about, do you currently use co-production? If so, how and for what? And if you don't, how or when might you like to use it? And we're interested in your small breakout groups, which will be for approximately 10 minutes, which will go very quickly, I'm sure. But we're interested to hear for each of the breakout groups when you come back, if somebody could just share some brief information. But also, I think we would like to continue this conversation where we hear back from the breakout rooms to see how we can then understand better how people like to use co-production or would like to find out more about it next. So if Danny is okay to orchestrate the breakout rooms for 10 minutes, that would be brilliant.
Okay, we're just waiting on the second group.
That's fine. We have 2 rooms, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
All right, we're all here.
Great.
Perfect, thank you. Welcome back, everybody. So we know there were 2 rooms. We would like to try and get some sense of what was being talked about or discussed in the rooms. Room 1 had Hannah, Liam, Rebecca and Tom. I don't know if you amongst you decided who would quickly share back something with us all? Or did somebody want to be braver or bravest?
We didn't decide, but I can always say what I remember and then people can just jump in. We basically started by saying who we were, what we do, what co-production was to us, and that was very different across the group. And then we discussed kind of maybe boundaries, other things we took from your presentation. Some of the things we took were, I think was it Liam was saying about changing the language within speaking to young people is a really quick kind of easy win. And then from that, we discussed the idea of also the idea of different formats of sending information home, if that was part of what you were saying earlier. That was quite an interesting thing. And then what about at the end they're discussing kind of creative control and letting them be really creative, but in a way where you actually harness that in a non-madness kind of way, and then actually getting an outcome from it. That's kind of in a nutshell what we're talking about, unless someone else from my group wants to jump in.
Graham, that's really concise and really great. Rebecca, can you recall whether other people called co-production other things, or did people recognize it by other names?
I think Tom started by saying we probably do co-production without even realizing it. So I think from that sentence, I took that he probably doesn't use that term, and I probably don't either. But when you think about it, that is what we were all talking about and doing.
Great, that's brilliant. Thank you. There's a couple of things we can respond to and talk about actually. And then, so group 2 would be Amy, David, Eileen, Heather, and Jem. Did somebody have a sense of who was going to come back and share some thoughts for us here? Well, given I know most of you, I could pick somebody, couldn't I? Eileen, can I ask you to talk back? Is that okay?
I knew you were going to do that, Mark.
I know. I could have chosen Heather because Heather could work for us, but I thought it'd be unfair. And Eileen, that'd be grand.
All right, I'll try. So yeah, we started off by introducing ourselves. Quite different people from different backgrounds and different organisations, which was interesting for the discussion. So I think we all agreed that co-production within dance is quite a natural fit in a lot of ways. Particularly Amy was talking about her experience in school as well, and how dance was a really good non-verbal way of encouraging co-production. It was a little bit more accessible because of that, and it broke down some of the barriers between pupils. A few of us were quite honest about our organisations not really doing co-production brilliantly well at the moment, to be fair, although there's certain really good specific examples where it was done well and led by particular individuals within the organisation, but it wasn't across a whole staff team or a whole organisational approach towards it. Does anybody else want to add anything from the group? Because I'm sure I've missed stuff off there. No? Okay.
That's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So there's a few things I think it might be worth myself and Tess, Laura, George kind of responding to as well, actually, from what you said. And there's a Q&A bit at the end if people have specific questions around this as well. To close that box. Certainly the co-production sense of, we called it all sorts of things. We've looked at co-creation, collaboration. I think it's really true that we work in, I'm sure everyone knows their art form really well, but we feel that dance is by default a very co-produced based art form. It's about the space between us and how we interact and how we create together. So it's always felt a natural progression to explore that. It's definitely a journey for us. Tess might be able to talk a bit more about how maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we felt we were doing these conversations, but didn't recognize what we were doing and didn't fulfill the potential of what we were doing. And it was the Talent Hub program, which George initiated for us to kind of really push that process forwards, actually, to make sure there were more voices informing how things were happening. So Tess, I wonder if there's a little bit about that. And then also wondered, Tess, if you could talk a little bit about what other information we gather that helps us with the co-production. So we don't just sit in a room and start it. There's some background work which takes place before that. Is that okay?
Sure. So yes, I think you're right. Dance is very natural. You do always ask for people's input into movement, for them to give their interpretation of whatever it is the theme may be into movement. I think co-production can be a very scary thing because you are basically handing control over. So I am quite a control freak. I do like to know what's going on and when it's happening, but equally I love risk, and I love to see the unknown, discover the unknown, what would come. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things that comes through co-production, is that you don't know what's coming. It's often an absolutely brilliant, gorgeous surprise. And it's very rich because there's no way you can see through all those other people's eyes, how they see the world, how they interpret the task in front of you. So I think it's very enriching. It helps me grow as an artist, as well as the other people who I'm working with. So I think it is a really valuable thing, but I do think that not enough people do it. And the kind of bigger your name is, the less likely you are perhaps to do co-production, because there's a greater way to fall perhaps And I think that's also because of the way society looks at art in particular, that it perhaps dance, that it needs to look like a certain thing. So I think the more that we can co-produce, it will become richer, and that will change in society as well. And then we have better role models around, etc., for our young people to follow, that they don't always have to be a certain aesthetic or be certain at a certain academic level. But it takes a long time as well to co-produce. So you have to think about how are we communicating if there's almost 10 different languages being spoken in the room at once. That is difficult and it takes a lot of preparation. But if you're all working together, you get quicker at that. Right at the beginning of any project, if we don't know the people who are coming into the room, we spend an awful lot of time getting to know each other, sending what we call access cards. So we'll send just like a little form out for people to fill in, so we get to know their personalities, what they're amazing at, what they're not so good at, what they're absolutely hopeless at and please avoid. So we know all those things. We know about triggers. We know about where to be spoken to. We send the same information about ourselves out, so let them know that we're not superhuman, that we too have the same things going on inside of us. We find out whether people, even when we meet, shall we make eye contact? Shall we speak to each other? How should we behave around each other? And by having that communication beforehand, you're already so far down the line. So that's really important just before you meet, to have all that going on. And then continue and make it very open and honest that it is a journey that you're on together. There will be pitfalls and we will have to put each other right because we don't have the answers, but that's something, the answers is what we will discover together. So again, it brings it back to that equality between us, that no one's better than another person.
I think sorry, we got a bit of unstable internet, so I kind of we went out for about a minute and a half and came back and then couldn't work out where you just jumped onto it going, but then I think I found the thread as I came back. And as Tess said, all of that's true, and it all works. What we don't do is we don't do co-production from a blank space. So we don't just all walk into a room knowing nobody and go, right, well, this is how we're going to work this out together. That informed understanding that Tess talked about, gathering information about all of us and how we like and dislike and how we engage and don't engage, and that helps us make those decisions together. And I think shared responsibility was the other bit Tess spoke a lot about, is that we're not, it's not just a free-for-all where we're saying, you set whatever rules you want, we'll go for you. It's a shared responsibility. And with responsibility, just I suppose it comes an understanding that decisions lead to actions and things happen as a result of. So we go on that journey together and encourage people to do that with us together. Does anybody have any other responses? Because we have 2 more little things to do before we finish off today. That's okay. Okay, so we are going to, there's a Jamboard little quick exercise, and the Jamboard exercise has a quick question on it, and it is just what one thing will you take away today? What one thing are you going to grab and pick up and hopefully try and carry through today? The other thing, which is an additional point to that, is you are more than welcome. Anything on that Jamboard, if you put in brackets tin, we will follow up with you and respond with you and help you whatever that step is you want to do or whatever that thing is you want to take away from you. So if it's something you're taking away for yourself and you're going to go and do that and you're happy to share it, brilliant. If it's something you want to carry on and pick up, but you want to put in brackets tin, because I'd love to hear about how we've done it or whether we can offer you support, advice and guidance, this is not a selling exercise. This is voluntarily free. We will help you go on that co-production journey. Then just put in brackets tin, and then we'll flag that. And then actually you might want to put your own name next to it, otherwise you'll have to guess who put it. So put brackets tin and your name, and then we'll commit to kind of following up with you and maybe helping you share resources or things we've seen or where we've got information from as well about it. So a little 2-minute breakout, is that just a Jamboard? And then do we just pull people back from there, Danny, once they've had 2 minutes, is that right?
Yes, we can do that. So if everyone clicks the link for the Jamboard that's in the chat, just to make sure you've got it open before you go into your breakouts. And then to add to the Jamboard, I can see someone's done it already, which is great. On the left-hand side, I think it's the fourth one down, there's a sticky note icon. And if you click that, you'll find it quite easy to add to the Jamboard. Martin, do you want people in the same breakouts as before?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, we're literally flying for 2 minutes, aren't we? And then coming straight back. Is that right? Yeah.
Great. So if everyone can make sure they've got the Jamboard link open already, and then we'll see you all in 2 minutes.
Perfect. What do you think? Enjoying it?
It's natural.
And Liam, you should get a pop-up on your screen inviting you to join a breakout room. You'll just need to accept that.
Oh, there it is. There, I found it. So when they come back, we've just got a tiny bit where Tess says something, I say something, George says thank you, and Laura will hand back to you, Andrew.
Okay.
And when I say my summit, Danny, I'll just, I did slightly make up that last bit about in brackets, put your initials and names, and we'll follow up with you, because it seemed like, well, actually, that seems like a good idea, so we'll do that.
It's very generous of you, actually.
Very generous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just send them an email going, co-produce it yourself, work it out. That's how
Yeah, well, you know, when I said I was going to help you, it depends who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just log that because I've got the attendance list. Actually, I just need an updated one, but I've got an attendance list. They've got their names on it. I've got that Jamboard is my Jamboard, wasn't it, Danny? So I've got a copy of it. Yeah. So I can see who's put one on there. Teresa.
Yes, please. I haven't actually got anything else to say because I was going to do the Jamboard bit, but you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did the Jamboard bit.
Sorry, I think we should just start again. When we come back, sorry, I did the last bit wrong. Can we start at the beginning?
The very start.
Now I'd go back.
This is not very This is not how you do co-production, George.
This is not how you take over, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
Back to your natural state again.
You can say my
Then
bit.
I'd go back now.
You can say my bit if you want.
Right, please put your little special.
Okay, that's 2 minutes. So is everyone happy for me to bring them back? Great.
You cough now, I'm like, yeah. Oh. Pretty girl.
Okay, I think we're all back now. Okay. So thank you very much. The Jamboard is something I have access to. I'll have a look after the session. If you have put your name in brackets, I have the delegate list of people attending. I'll be in touch. And if you ask for something, resources or links onto something or a conversation, it will be probably tomorrow. I'll ping an email. If I don't have your email address, I might have to ask Culture Bridge Northeast forward, if that's okay. Or they'll email you and ask you to share with me because there's GDPR things. So great, thank you very much for coming through. We are just going to finish off pretty much very shortly, and then any questions people have. So bear with me a second, sorry.
thank you and comment our section.
On behalf of all of us, we hope you have found it interesting and useful, and now I'll hand you back to Andrew.
Thank you very much. That was brilliant. Thanks. We've got a couple of minutes left. If you have a question, you can either put it in the chat. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think about it. So it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. We've got 30 seconds. You can either do a good old fashioned put your hand up, or just please pop it in the chat. But we'll just give a minute or so. If you have anything. Okay, I guess that means everyone is perfectly aware of what's going on and everyone's good. Excellent. Brilliant. Okay, well, a big thank you to Martin, George, Laura and Tess for that brilliant workshop. And thanks to you all for attending and participating so generously. We hope you've had a fantastic time today. So today's workshop has been recorded and will be available via the CBNE YouTube channel from next week for you to rewatch or share with others. Oh, it's flashing up. It was a thank you. I thought it was a question. No, it's not. Cool. Yeah, so it'll be available for you to watch or share with others. Our digital stage manager, Danny's going to put a link to the feedback form in the chat, and the link will also be sent to you in a post-workshop email if you don't get to it today. That's fine. We'd be grateful if you could fill this in and return it to us and find out what your thoughts were about the workshop and what you'd like to see from us in future programs and events. If you wish to join us again this week for more Imagine If, please feel free to do so. We'll share the link with you again in a second, although you've probably all got it already, of course, but I'll just pop that in the chat as well. Like that. Cool. And yeah, that's it, I think, from us today. Thanks very much for attending Imagine If, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.